I'd like to pull just this word out of verse 13 and that first word in verse 14. And the word is and. A-N-D. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And. So get an attitude and talk to your neighbor and say, I know you're confused, but just say it anyways. Get a real attitude and say, I mean, rear back, roll your head, twist your shoulders, hold your hand up and say, that's what I'm going to talk about. Have a seat. And you're going to like it before it's over. If we would capsulize, and certainly my time is short this morning, if we would capsulize this portion of the letter to the church at Ephesus that Paul is credited with writing, we could capsulize it by simply saying, Paul is showing believers, remember that word, believers. Paul is showing believers how to become strong in the Lord. And if they're already strong in the Lord, then the letter is showing them how to remain strong in the Lord. To do that, to be strong in the Lord, believers need to put on, Paul says, the whole armor of God. He says you need to put on the whole armor of God because strength and power are necessary for the battle that we are engaged in. You do know that we are engaged in the battle. And the particular battle or battles that we will find ourselves in, we need power and strength. For in particular, the battles that we are in, or the battle that we are in, is for first our souls, and then for the souls of others. And you do not fight for humankind. You do not fight for yourself against the enemy without engaging in heavy warfare. He says something else about the battle or battles that we are engaged in that the battle that we are engaged in is not a battle that we war which includes flesh and blood. Paul says to us, for our war or our warfare is not against flesh and blood, but he lists against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness, against wickedness in high or heavenly places. We are in a spiritual battle. So Paul devotes this last chapter of this letter to the church at Ephesus. He devotes this chapter to remind his readers that in fact our future, if there is one that we believe we have, we must never ever rely upon our power alone. If we're going to fight the enemy, the devil in particular, successfully, then we have to rely or come out of ourselves and rely on God's power, because we are not fighting flesh and blood. I'm going to help somebody before it's over. So he says, finally, after it's all said and done, finally, he says, what you have to be is strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Because if one is going to have adequate strength to fight the devil for the spiritual battles of life, we must rely on the Lord's strength. Now that's going to help somebody right there, because you've been trying to deal with the enemy these last few months, these last few weeks of this year in your own strength. But I'm going to give you some ammunition and some warfare weapons that's going to help you succeed as we march toward 2005. So Paul says, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, because in and of yourself, you are not adequately equipped by yourself to fight the devil. It must be done, Paul says, through the Lord's strength. And let me serve notice on you too. The Lord can help you to win. Make no mistake about it. I don't care how dark, how dreary it may seem, how low the clouds may hover over your life, the Lord can help you to win. Did not David declare to us that the Lord is a very present help in the time of trouble? Yes. And Paul agrees with David that it's the Lord who's going to help us to win these battles. Paul then runs down a list of spiritual enemies, all those principalities, those powers, those rulers of darkness, the host of wickedness. He runs down a list in high places. He runs down a list, and then he says, our struggle, the conflict that we're in, is against Satan and his evil mafia. You do know that Satan has employed. Ouch. I may feel like preaching before it's over. I'm tired of being quiet. You know, he has employed a host of demons, or a mafia as it would be, to fight against us. And Paul says to us, we must learn how to stand. See, most believers want to engage in combat, and we're going to get there because combat in and of itself may help us. But hear what Paul, as I research the text, what Paul is talking about as he suggests that we stand against the devil and this evil mafia. He suggests that it's not really a victory that we're looking for. Well, let me help you. Because victory is already ours. So you need to clear the air and understand, Lord have mercy, that the cards are stacked in your favor. So really you're not standing for victory, which eliminates some of the stress and anxiety and aggravation that you have to go through from day to day. That Paul suggests that we are really standing as a defense. That victory is not really here a question. It's already out. We're standing as a defense. In other words, your job as we fight this evil mafia is to hold your position. Look at somebody and say, hold your position. Let's say it another way. Any ground that you have already, Lord have mercy, in any area that you've already successfully, Lord have mercy, all you got to do is hold your position. I'm going to help somebody get through the holiday. You don't really have to fight. Paul is suggesting here by saying to us to stand that any ground we've already covered, any areas we've already been successful in, all you got to do is hold on to that. In spite of what it looks like, in spite of how you may feel, in spite of what others are saying about you, all you got to do is maintain. I dare you to turn around and tell somebody, maintain, man. That is your quest in life. That is your final answer. In other words, don't give up no ground. Don't turn